witches which were found in Kenya, because I was also following these stories about witchcraft, wanting to understand, being a doctor, because when you are a doctor, you need to understand what types of things which are transpiring. So I was doing a research on witchcraft myself, being a traditional doctor, because of an individual who come to me being bewitched, because of that's what he or she will say, that I'm bewitched. Then I needed to find out, what is this? What's this witchcraft? The word witchcraft, and I'm actually engulfed with darkness. I'm bad luck. So many things. So I did a research about that. So what I found was astonishing. In Kenya, 3 witches were found, and what transpired with these 3 witches, it was actually well known that these witches will actually kill infants at that particular village. After killing infants, they will actually use such infants to gain more customers, to gain in terms of people who come about asking for 1, 2, 3, and 4, etc. Then these witches will use body parts of such infants. So these witches were found. Then they were burned. It was actually quite astonishing that this actually does exist.
I mean, I remember as a kid, because I'm a very light-skinned kid, so I was told that there were these guys at home. They used to call them Borrabo Bokwana. Now,
oh yes,
Borrabo Bokwana. They are. It's to translate it. It's the men who either take the brain or use the brain. And these guys, apparently, their task was to go around. They would look for children, kidnap you, take your body parts, and use the body parts to improve their businesses. And there was a saying that they would say, when a car approaches you and it's Bo Rabobokwana, they would say, which means your head be heavy and your stomach be sore. They say that to you, and then automatically your head is too heavy, you can't run, and your stomach is sore, and they catch you. And I mean, as a kid hearing this, I was like, look, I'm not going anywhere after 5 o'clock.
And
so,
I must say that the very same story you're narrating now is what we heard, or well, I heard while I was still growing up as well.
Yeah.
Like we are told those particular stories, and then you sleep at night, and then that comes back to your mind. Then you start to have those nightmares. Obviously, start thinking about that. You'll be dreaming, and then all of a sudden you can't run anymore. And then by the time you say, okay, by the time you decide to give up, then you just wake up.
Yeah.
So obviously it was kind of traumatizing to us as well, like the stories that we are told. About witchcraft.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I engage with somebody who does not know or understand African culture, I would say, you don't understand what we are going through or what we have gone through as black people, not just from a poverty or the struggles, just on the issues of
being an African,
and dealing with the issues of Uptagat. Now, I mean, what sort of cases do you get? People coming to you and say, "Bang Tagati, they've bewitched me." What sort of cases do you get?
They range. There are extremely many cases which I've actually encountered as Nginyanga, i.e., it's termed elephantitis, medical term.
Okay.
So in Ubunyanga, its termed is fuller. So you'll get, for example, that umuntu yeqile, translating that in a particular herb or medicine or umut has been set upon a gate, then an individual will actually jump or pass that particular medicine. Why and what's the reason for that? It's for him or her to be bewitched, for him or her that his or her things get engulfed, that he or she is not going to be protruding, or he or she is not going to be succeeding in life. So that herb or medicine will then form such disease or such ailment, then umuntu or an individual will be having is full, as I've said, elephantitis. Then he or she will come about.
Is that where your feet are
just
swollen?
swollen, and most of the time in very drastic cases, worms will come about, or worms will come out of
I've
such.
seen people like that.
Now, it's extremely harsh and hard to see an individual whom has actually went through that. That's one of the main case which Africans keep doing to each other.
Now, what goes into a person who, decides, Uguti, I want to bewitch that person?
I think it's utterly pure jealousy. It's just pure jealousy. Because why I say that, back in the days, what will transpire? It was said because of I was hearing you and Obabu James discussing about your foretold stories when you were growing up, etc., etc., etc. Back in the days, it's when things used to be happening, or it's when things used to happen. I.e., you'll be told of certain stories that this Magogo, what go next door, is doing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Beware of that Magogo because of he or she can do a particular thing. It's not only African culture, also other cultures like your Hindus, like your colored culture. This is usually there. So, in answering your question, I think because of an individual will see another individual succeeding in his or her life, then such individual whom is actually possessed by the word witchcraft in him or her will do a particular deed. Then that to me is just pure jealousy.
Absolutely. Sure. Worrying indeed. And, I remember growing up as a kid, I always refer back to it because... I've heard some really horrible stories, even as an adult as well. I'll share some as we go along. I remember one of my cousins who died. I think he was 14 years, and how he died. Apparently, he was at the river, and they believed. With us black people, when we see big water, we think snake in the water, and then we think there's a big snake. The bigger the water, the bigger the snake is. And that's why so many of our black people don't swim.
Because of inyoko.
Yeah, they're like. So. Apparently, the story I still hear, Uguti, my cousins were there along with my brother, and they were playing, and all of a sudden, he saw something in the water, and then they say that the snake called him inside the water. Are there such things as big snakes that can pull you into the water, and maybe they take you down to the water? Mhlambe they want to make you a sangoma or a traditional healer, and things go wrong. I know I'm touching on deep waters.
Controversially.
Extremely deep waters. I'm listening.
Okay.
Wow, Kofifi Landers, do make sure you send us your comments, man.
Yeah. Send us yours on 076 535 5634. Or you can call us as well, 011 047 4647. Continue sending your comments as well, or questions on our Facebook page, Kofifi FM 97.2. Tweet us at MCAtelo, at Kofifi FM _972, at Sipomasiro.
Okay. Hey,
are you ready for this one?
I'm extremely. I will do my level best to answer as knowledgeable as I can.
Okay.
Yes. I think it has to do with belief. Because of when you actually to convince an individual that he or she has this is what's actually transpiring, etc., etc., and you actually implement that onto him or her, that this is how it is. Because we grew up that there is a particular spirit, we'll call it, like spirit of a snake or umamlambo, or a mermaid, etc., etc.
Oh yes, I remember.
So now, speaking on the context of being an African doctor, right?
We only need a camera in here, Kofifi, and you can see how this man is sweating when answering this.
Speaking with context of being a traditional doctor, I'll say yeah. There is. I've never seen one, but
Okay.
I've felt that there is an external force which, when I go close to a river, when I will actually, because of we Africans or we traditional doctors believe that if you were to go and pray to Umbelikange or the man upstairs, you'll go to a secluded or to a peaceful place. So we take water as a peaceful surrounding, or we take mountains as a peaceful surrounding. So when we go there, that's when we find the connection with Umvelikanga, which is the man upstairs. So for I to be saying to you guys that there is a mermaid or there is a water snake, etc., at the river, what I will say that it just an external force which I myself cannot actually explain. There was a guy whom is an Englishman who came about, whom had these radio, they pick up forces. I don't know what it actually called the thing. So there's a guy whom actually went about to find out whether there are the forces or spirits roaming around at particular places like your caves, like your water. And it was actually quite astonishing, that radio meter or radiograph or something, because when you went closer, that gadget actually was actually moving up and down to prove that there was. Scientifically, why scientists are not proving it, but African-wise, there is external forces. Yeah, let me just leave it to that.
Sure. I know some really interesting conversations right here, Mkulu. So it's gone almost 7:30, and Keda, you went to the streets to hear what Kofifi Landers have to say about our topic tonight. And I'm sure you must have come across some interesting views as well.
Definitely.
Okay, let's hear it, man.
Let's go back and hear what you had to say. Frequency 97.2 Kofifi FM is your station where it all began. This is Lifestyle Thursday. With a difference, we always make sure that we start conversations. And yes, we are changing the level of community radio. Thank you for choosing us as your number one community radio station in Gauteng. I'm here with Jacob Masimung on a Lifestyle Thursday. Now, Jacob, do you believe that witchcraft exists?
Yes, I do believe witchcraft exists, because about the things that happen on the community around the world, some of them it's truth. We hear from the newspapers, radios, but I do believe.
So what do you mean, like,
yeah, I do. How did they need to because you can see on the TV, wherever you see those things, it is.
Just maybe tell our listeners about Kofifi Landers about any story that you have heard related to witchcraft. Stories is only so.
Yeah, I had other story on the news. I think that side of Northwest, about a kid at school to say was bleeding from the eyes to the ears. You understand? Which is, they say during the night they use him. You understand? Those people, the witchcraft, they use that little girl to do their things. You see? So I do believe, because he was talking from the experience. Yeah.
Now tonight we have a traditional healer in the studio. Any questions for him in relation to witchcraft or any other thing?
Yeah, anything to the relation of witchcraft. What can I say? We do have a traditional doctor, and nowadays we have sangomas. So those sangomas, I believe to say, is the one that this comes about, those witchcraft. Yeah, because the traditional healer cannot do something like witchcraft. You understand what I mean?
So you believe sangomas start witchcraft? They actually keep on evaluating?
Yeah, I do believe that, because I don't trust them. Okay. Sure.
And that was Jacob speaking to us earlier today, Jacob Masimung.
Yeah.
Interesting views from our Kofifi Landers.
Absolutely. How do you respond to that, Mkulu? Because I saw you, like, just your body language as he was talking.
Okay, I'll answer with the knowledge I do have. As a traditional doctor, I don't believe it is Isangoma who causes witchcraft. It can be a traditional doctor too, or Inyanga too, who does witchcraft. I think and believe it's about the heart of an individual. If such heart it's actually engulfed with bad